The first thing I saw that morning was a photo of my girlfriend in a restaurant I had never been to. Not from her. From a guy I barely knew. He sent it with one sentence. "Bro, isn't this Emily?" I remember staring at the screen while toothpaste foam was still in my mouth. I actually laughed first. Not because it was funny, but because my brain immediately rejected it. The woman in the picture had Emily's face, Emily's jacket, Emily's stupid silver bracelet I bought her on our second anniversary. But my brain still went, nope. Not possible. Because 3 months before that photo, she had cried on a video call and told me, "I just don't believe in long-distance relationships anymore." That sentence had ripped me apart. I'm 38 now. Back then I was 35, and my life was painfully ordinary in the best way. I had a stable job and software support. A small apartment. Parents still alive. Younger sister married with 2 kids. And Emily. For almost 4 years, Emily had been my person. Until distance entered our lives. And apparently I wasn't the only life she was living. Before everything fell apart, life had a rhythm that felt safe. Emily and I met through mutual friends at a birthday party. She was the kind of person who walked into a room and somehow made everyone feel like they already knew her. Loud laugh, messy hair, sarcastic comments every 5 minutes. I wasn't some guy who instantly believed in soulmates. I always thought people exaggerated that feeling. Then I met her. 3 dates in, I was rearranging my schedule just to see her for an hour. Within a year we practically lived together. Weekends meant grocery shopping, terrible movies on the couch, arguing over what to order, her stealing fries off my plate even though she always claimed she wasn't hungry. Normal things. Beautiful things. When my company offered me a temporary project in another city, 6 months with better pay and promotion potential, Emily hugged me and said, "We'll survive 6 months." I believed her immediately. Looking back now, I wonder if she already knew something I didn't. The first month apart actually felt easier than I expected. We texted constantly. Morning messages. Random selfies during lunch. Video calls before bed. Emily would complain about coworkers, tell me about things she saw during the day, asked me when I was coming home. I missed her, but I wasn't scared. I thought missing someone was proof that things were working. Around the 2nd month, small things started changing. Not dramatic things. Tiny things. She stopped answering immediately. Video calls became shorter. Sometimes she looked distracted, like she was reading something on another screen while I was talking. I'd ask, "Everything okay?" And she'd smile. "Yeah, just tired." Then she started canceling calls. Girls' night. Work stuff. I'm exhausted. All perfectly reasonable excuses. That's the thing that still bothers me. There were no giant warning signs. Just little moments where something felt off. I noticed them. Then I ignored them. Because when you love someone, you become weirdly talented at explaining away things you don't want to see. I remember one conversation that keeps replaying in my head even now. I called her after work, and she answered almost out of breath. Not heavily breathing or anything dramatic. Just startled. Like I interrupted something. "Hey," she said. "Hey. Bad time?" There was this tiny pause. "No, why?" I don't know why my stomach tightened. I heard television in the background, dishes moving, and what sounded like another voice somewhere far away. "Are you with someone?" I asked. She laughed immediately. Too quickly. "Oh my God, you're getting jealous now?" I felt embarrassed right away. I apologized. Actually apologized. "Sorry. Long day. You know I'd never do that to you." That was the exact sentence. I know because I repeated it to myself later 1,000 times. You know I'd never do that to you. I trusted her so completely that I felt guilty for even asking. Now I look back and wonder whether she was lying while smiling. About 3 weeks later, she asked if we could skip our usual Friday video call. That was strange because Fridays were ours. No matter how busy things got, we always talked Friday nights. I asked why. My cousin's visiting. Simple answer. I said okay. Then around 11 that night I sent her some dumb meme I found online. She didn't read it. Midnight passed. Still nothing. 1 in the morning. Nothing. I remember staring at my phone like an idiot. Not because I thought she was cheating. I honestly didn't. I just felt forgotten. Around 2, she finally replied. Sorry, phone died. That should have been the end of it. Except the next morning she posted a picture online. Her phone clearly wasn't dead. And before anyone says people post later all the time, I know. But it was one of those tiny things again. Something small enough to ignore. Small enough that I ignored it anyway. Because I loved her more than I trusted my own instincts. By month 4, I started feeling like I was dating a version of Emily instead of Emily herself. I don't know how else to explain it. She was still there. Still saying, love you, before hanging up. Still sending heart emojis. Still asking about my day. But something felt rehearsed. Like she was checking boxes. One night I told my sister about it while we were on the phone. She asked, have you actually talked to Emily about this? I said no. Why? And I remember sitting there in silence. Because I already knew the answer. I was scared. Not scared of losing her. Scared of hearing something I didn't want to hear. Because once someone says something out loud, you can't push it back into the dark. So instead I convinced myself I was insecure. I blamed distance. Stress. Overthinking. Anything except the possibility that my gut was trying to drag me toward a truth I wasn't ready to see. Then came the call that shattered me. Emily called me on a Tuesday night. No warning. No usual. Hey, how was your day? Her face appeared on screen and she looked like she'd been crying. Immediately I thought someone had died. What's wrong? I asked. She stared at me for a few seconds. Then she said, I don't think I can do long distance anymore. Just like that. No build-up. No explanation. I remember blinking because I genuinely thought I misunderstood her. What? She started crying harder. I love you, I do. I don't believe in relationships like this. I felt my chest drop. 4 years. 4 years together reduced to a sentence. I kept asking questions. Did I do something? Are you unhappy? Is there somebody else? That last question came out automatically. She looked straight at me and shook her head. No. I swear. I believed her instantly. That's probably the part that embarrasses me the most now. The weeks after that felt unreal. People talk about heartbreak like it's dramatic crying and sad music. For me it felt quieter. I still went to work. Still answered emails. Still bought groceries. Still called my parents. But everything felt like I was doing it underwater. Emily and I kept texting after the breakup, which I know was stupid. I couldn't stop. I told myself we were ending things respectfully. That maybe we could reconnect someday. She'd send things like, hope you ate today. Saw something that reminded me of you. Miss you. And every message kept some tiny stupid hope alive. Because if someone misses you, they still care, right? At least that's what I kept telling myself. Then I noticed something else. Her social media became strangely quiet. Almost too quiet. Emily used to post everything. Coffee. Friends. Random sunsets. Now suddenly there was almost nothing. I thought she was hurting too. I had no idea I was looking at someone carefully hiding another life. About a month later, I got that message. The photo. The one I still wish I'd never opened. The guy who sent it wasn't even a close friend. He knew Emily through mutual friends and apparently saw her at some restaurant downtown. Bro, isn't this Emily? I looked at the picture. Emily was sitting across from a man I'd never seen before. They weren't kissing. They weren't holding hands. Nothing obvious. But you know how you can tell when two people exist inside their own little world? The way she leaned toward him. The way she was smiling. I knew that smile. I knew it because for years I thought it belonged to me. I texted her immediately. "Who is he?" No answer. I called. Nothing. Again. Nothing. 3 hours later she finally replied. "What are you talking about?" I sent the picture. I remember staring at the screen afterward. Hands shaking. Heart pounding. Because for the first time in months, I wasn't trying to ignore the feeling anymore. I was terrified of being right. She called me maybe 10 minutes later. I answered immediately. "He's a friend," she said before I even spoke. No hello. No explanation. Just defense. I remember sitting on the edge of my bed staring at the wall. "A friend." "Yes." "Why are you lying?" Silence. Not long. Maybe 2 seconds. But long enough. "I'm not lying." I asked how long she'd known him. She said a few months. A few months. My stomach dropped. Because a few months meant while we were still together. I asked if she had feelings for him. Another pause. Then, "It just happened." I swear something inside me physically hurt. "Just happened?" I started laughing. Actual laughing. Not because I thought anything was funny. Because sometimes your brain gets hit so hard it stops knowing what reaction belongs there. Then I asked the question I already knew the answer to. "Did you leave me because of him?" And she started crying again. I kept waiting for her to deny it. Even then. Even after everything. I wanted her to say I was imagining things, that I was being paranoid, that I misunderstood the whole situation. Instead, I heard her crying into the phone. Then quietly, "I didn't mean for this to happen." I remember feeling cold. Physically cold. "Emily, answer me." More silence. Then, "I met him at work." That's when everything started connecting itself in my head. The cancelled calls. The late replies. The distracted expression. The nights she was busy. Every tiny thing I buried suddenly dug itself back up. I asked if she cheated on me. And she said, "Not technically." I still hate those two words. Not technically. Like there was some rulebook somewhere. Like betrayal becomes smaller if you choose the right wording. I asked what that even meant. She cried harder. I was confused. And I remember thinking something awful. You were confused while I was planning a future with you. The argument lasted almost 2 hours. I don't remember every word. I remember pieces. Fragments. Her saying, "I never wanted to hurt you." Me saying, "Then why lie?" Her, "I was trying to figure things out." Me, "While staying with me as backup?" That part made her angry. She suddenly snapped back. "That's not fair." I actually stared at my phone. Not fair. I felt like reality had started bending. Because somehow I was sitting there apologizing for sounding harsh while hearing that the woman I loved had built another relationship behind my back. Then she said something that cut deeper than I expected. "I didn't plan any of this." Because maybe that was true. Maybe people don't sit down and schedule betrayals. Maybe feelings happen. Maybe attraction happens. But choices happen too. Thousands of them. Answering texts. Meeting up. Hiding things. Lying. I realized I wasn't grieving a relationship anymore. I was grieving the version of her I thought existed. After that night, things got ugly in ways I didn't expect. Not screaming fights. Not public drama. Worse. Slow damage. Mutual friends started hearing different versions of the story. Apparently, Emily told some people that we had been drifting apart for a long time. Others heard that distance ruined us. One person even asked me, "Didn't you two basically break up before she met him?" I remember staring at him. Because I suddenly understood something. While I was grieving us, Emily had already been rewriting us. Maybe not out of cruelty. Maybe out of guilt. I don't know. But hearing those things felt like getting betrayed twice. First losing her. Then losing our history. I stopped talking to people for a while. Stopped answering messages. My sister came over one weekend and said my apartment looked depressing. She wasn't wrong. I barely cleaned. Barely slept. Some nights I'd wake up angry. Other nights I'd wake up missing her. That part messed me up the most. I still loved her. About 6 months later, Emily texted me out of nowhere. Just, "Can we talk?" I stared at that message for almost an hour. Part of me wanted to ignore it. Part of me wanted to block her. And another part, the pathetic part one hated, still wanted her. I agreed. We met at a coffee shop. The second I saw her, every emotion I thought I had under control came back at once. Anger. Relief. Sadness. Love. Resentment. She looked nervous. Older somehow. We talked for almost an hour about meaningless things before she finally said, "Things didn't work out with him." I remember just looking at her. No reaction. Nothing. Then she started crying. She told me she made mistakes. Said she missed me. Said she hated herself for hurting me. And for a second, a tiny second, I imagined saying yes if she asked for another chance. That scared me more than anything she had done. I didn't get back together with her. I wish I could say I walked away feeling powerful and healed and completely sure of myself. I didn't. I walked away feeling empty. That's the truth. It's been a few years now, and my life looks normal again from the outside. I work, I see my family, I go out, I laugh at stupid things. People assume time fixes things. I think time just teaches you how to carry things. What stayed with me wasn't even the cheating itself. It was the feeling of realizing someone had slowly become a stranger while standing right in front of me. Emily said she didn't believe in long-distance relationships. Maybe she believed that. Maybe she didn't. But what I know is this: while I was counting days until I could come home, she was already building a home somewhere else. And sometimes I still think about something I hate admitting. I miss the person I thought she was. Not the person she turned out to be.